It's a cold, wintry day here in St. Joe, Michigan. Pam and I drove through the downtown area and there was not a soul in sight because of the weather. Instead of being downtown, it felt like we were out in the wilderness. And I want to talk to you about a spiritual wilderness that you may find yourself in your morning cup of inspiration. I've got some hot apple cider in there. It tastes great. But we were having our devotions this morning and we read about the children of Israel in Exodus, that they found themselves in the wilderness of sin. And that really hit me. And then later I was watching a video on Facebook that popped up of Pete Maravich talking to a Billy Graham crusade. And Pistol Pete Maravich was a childhood hero of mine. And he was talking about the fact that even though he had all the money in the world, he was the greatest basketball player ever up to that point, that all the records and all the money didn't satisfy him because he had sin in his life. He was separated from God, and he said, I felt like I was in a wilderness. So we're reading in Exodus chapter 16, verses 1 through 3. You can read it. But in verse 1, it says that the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of sin. And then in verse 2, it says, and the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And in verse 3, they said, why did you deliver us from the Egyptians? We should have stayed there where we had food and we were comfortable, and here we're out in the wilderness to die. Have you ever found yourself in a spiritual wilderness? The problem and the reason you did probably was because of sin in your life and disobeying God. It happened to me. I got away from the Lord once in my life, and it was really bad. I just didn't want to live anymore. I had no purpose. And that's what happens when we have sin in our life. So first of all, we have to go to the Lord, confess our sin, say, Jesus, forgive me, help me to have a better attitude, and then learn to find the peace and happiness that only He can give. In Psalm chapter 136, verse 1, it says, oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for He is good, for His mercy endures forever. If you come to the Lord and you ask Him to forgive you of your sins, He will have mercy on you, and He will restore you to that close relationship to Him. You won't be in the wilderness anymore, but then stay in the Word and stay in prayer and follow and obey His Word and turn from your sin. I hope that inspires you today, and I'll talk to you soon for another morning cup of inspiration.